If you've ever been on the side of the road with your motorcycle because you can't get it going, or even inside the garage because you've left your motorcycle parked for a really long time and now it won't start, and you suspect that it's the carburetor, well then this video is for you. I'm going to do a basic cleanup of the carburetor without taking the carburetor off the motorcycle, something that you and I can do on the side of the road or in the garage without having to go through all the fuss of removing the carburetor. Now, this is not going to be a full rebuild of the carburetor. That's something that you'll do once you remove the carburetor. But right now, it's just a basic cleanup of the carburetor so we can get this motorcycle going again. So let's get going. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the drain plug just to make sure that I have no fuel inside the bowl, and if I do, before I take the bowl off to drain it out. All right, I got no fuel inside. We can look inside the bowl also and clean out some of the other jets and see how the float looks like also. Not gonna tighten that up, just leave it like that. Once we take the bowl off, then we'll take that plug off. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to remove, the bowl is held to the carburetor by 4 screws, 3 short ones and 1 longer one in the back. There you go. All right, so we got the last screw off, and now we're going to take the bowl out. All right, the first thing we're going to do is take the gasket out, and as you can see, this gasket needs replacing, but just about everything in here is going to be replaced. I'm just not going to do it right now. We're going to do a full rebuild later on. Right now, we just want to get the motorcycle started, so we're going to put everything back as we had it out if we were out there riding on the street. So the gasket's out, this little O-ring, can't lose it, got to put it back on. So we have another one that we're going to be installing once we start repairing the carburetor. We're going to take the plug out again. Now we're going to take the needle housing fitting out. This is where the needle that's hooked up to the float sits in, and as you can see, all this is just it's got that varnish finish on it from old gas, and it smells like old gas. Alright, so now that we got that out, now we're going to go ahead and let's go ahead and remove the float so we can inspect the needle. This, all you got to do is remove this screw right here. There you go, and the float needle, everything comes out. There it is. This is the float and the needle. Now we can inspect the needle. Obviously it needs cleaning. I have a new one in the repair kit that we're going to be using later on, but again, we got to use this one right now. We're just going to clean it up. Don't lose this little bar right there. Now let's look at the bottom of the bowl, and as you can see, old gas. I mean, you can smell it. You guys know what old gas smells like, so but you can see how it's all varnished inside. And definitely that's going to require a major cleanup, but we're just going to clean it up as best as we can right now. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and remove the jets. I've already loosened them up already. So this is the pilot jet right here. We're gonna take it out, and then we're just gonna give it a cleanup. See if we can see through. We can't see that good right now, but anyway, we're gonna clean this one up. It seems sticky from all gas also, so I'm figuring the main jet right here is also gonna be the same. We're gonna clean it up. Now this one, both jets I'm gonna replace later on. I have a kit with jets, and this one got a little bit messed up. Somebody, I guess, had removed it in the past, and I don't know, maybe used the wrong screwdriver or whatever, but it's kind of screwed up. So right now we're just gonna use it to get the motorcycle going, but we're gonna be replacing it, and obviously I'm gonna clean it up now. And we're gonna remove this one here also, the housing where the main jet sits, and as you see, I mean, that's all gas, sticky gas, and it smells like all gas all the way through it. So we're gonna give this guy a clean up also before we replace it. Then we're gonna clean all this up right now and install it back on there, and hopefully the motorcycle will start up. All right, so I got some carburetor cleaner, and I'm just gonna spray. Again, this is just a basic cleanup. This is not something that we would do if we're gonna do a full rebuild of the carburetor, but right now I just want to get this carburetor back on the motorcycle and be able to start it up. Now for the jets, I got one of those little kits right here that's got all the wires. But I mean, there's a lot of other things that I guess that you hear people say that you can use, but these things are so cheap that I mean, it's just worth having one of these with you. All right, let's get the jets back on the carburetor. All right, so we got the jets back on there. The only important thing about this is don't over tighten anything up, man. I mean, you can really have a bad day if you start cranking on the jets, and you know, you're gonna need a new carburetor then. So just tighten them up about as tight as they need to be, and that should be good enough. So let's finish assembling the rest of the carburetor, and then we'll be done with this step. All right, so let's go ahead and build this bolt back up again, so we can get it back on the carburetor. Let me just do a little cleanup of the needle before we put her on. All right, one more section that we're going to take a look at, and that's going to be the diaphragm. We're going to open it up and see in what condition it's in. Now this is spring loaded, so be careful when you remove the two screws. Make sure you hold it so you don't lose the spring doesn't just fly out and you lose it. Here's the spring that I was talking about, and this is the diaphragm. Now you got to be careful also. You got two little balls here, bearings, with a couple of O-rings that are going to be overhauled or changed whenever we dive into the complete overhaul of this carburetor. Okay, now that we've cleaned it up, we're going to put it back together again. Make sure the diaphragm goes into its little groove. It's got to be in there just right so you don't pinch the end. All right, just tighten her up again. Don't over tighten. All right, so we're done with this now. So let's go ahead and install her back on. And then we should be ready for the next step, and that's starting the motorcycle up. All right, so we got the carburetor clean and all bundled up again, put back together. So really the only thing left to do is try to start the motorcycle up and see if she'll crank up. Now, this is something, again, that you can do on the side of the road on a pinch or in your garage. It really doesn't take that much time. It seems a lot longer on the video, but you know how video are. Sometimes they make things look a lot easier than what they are, and sometimes something like this probably comes across that, you know, it takes longer than what it really does. So probably about half hour you can knock this out if you got all the tools with you, and you know, something like this might be able to take you back home. So if you like the video, like, subscribe, obviously comment on anything that you saw on the video, anything that you want to see moving forward. And the next video, we're going to try to start her up and see what happens.